Today I'm covering another book, Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind and Body in Healing or Trauma. It's a very popular book by Bessel A. Kolk. That's what interesting. At least on Reddit I found like a lot of people will recommend this book to people who has PTSD or complex PTSD, and I was kind of surprised. I don't have PTSD or complex PTSD. At least I don't have such diagnosis. But this is a really heavy book to read. First of all, it starts with Vietnam veterans. Because the first time that PTSD, even as a diagnosis, was based on the fact United States has a lot of Vietnam veterans and they were suffering, they were not able to function in life. But not every single person who was in Vietnam, they do not develop PTSD. So it's only specific people who develop that one. So of course it depends on what kind of you have experience there. And then another very traumatic, very difficult to read experience in that book, it's about childhood abuse and other terrible traumas which happen in small children. I didn't know actually that exists, probably because no one talks about it, which is like a lot of shame when a small child get actually sexual abuse from caregiver. Very traumatic to read. It's so very difficult to read. So, and actually, I opened it Amazon reviews. I got on negative reviews I hear, and what one therapist he says, she's a therapist. She said, this book is re-traumatizing to many individuals who experience PTSD. This language is driven by ego and lack of any semblance of compassion. I can count like it's language when our house was written. I don't recall like noticing any of that. It's not. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. This book is often referred to as a trauma Bible, and many of my clients ask about it. And she said, I'm a licensed mental health therapist. I always make sure to let them know that many people have found this book helpful, but many have found it incredibly harmful. And please take it with a grain of salt. Do not assume this is the ultimate discourse on trauma. So she said there are other much better authors and doctors, and they read in more compassionable language. Actually, she refers to Gabor Mate books. Yeah, I read one I completed a book from Gabor Mate, and another I haven't completed. I had to read in my library because I was not able to complete in 3 weeks actually. And another one, Peter Levine. I haven't read even a single book on Levine. It's on my to-do list. Please save yourself from this horrible man's drama blaster. I actually totally agree with her because all these like stories about Vietnam veterans and childhood abuse. I don't know if regular user or regular person needs to read about such things, and especially if you're already traumatized. It doesn't explain actually trauma. I still learned something new from this book about dissociation. I didn't know. I had that dissociation when I was young, maybe around like 80, I was 18 or 20s or something like that. I had very rough teenage actually age because I live in a country which was not safe actually. That's the reason. And now I understood why dissociation is happening. It's just protection from your brain that you do not suffer, like you dissociate, that this is not happening to you. It's just protection mechanism. And I like it that chapter about drugs and why in modern society we don't have any solution and how to release trauma from our bodies. And as far as I can tell, every single person will have trauma in your body. like muscle tension, whatever. Your body is not only muscles, by the way. You have some other, I just don't know names actually. So there were a lot of studies, institutes, which will work on how to do and what to do with people with PTSD, how to help them, because they are not, a lot of them cannot function. They cannot work. If you cannot work, you don't have money, and so you don't function. So we need to help such people. And then on the market, we have seen a lot of antidepressants. And so such people with PTSD were offered this antidepressant. And right now everyone says that the data was fake and antidepressant maybe work only in 30% of people who will take them. But what happened? But it changed everything. All the study institutions were closed because we don't need that one. We have these pills, and it's so effective. So all studies were closed. So, and this is like happening for already 30 years. And of course, if they close, there is no fundings. No one does it. But now everybody knows that antidepressant works only for 30%, maybe even less. Probably we don't know exactly how many people benefits from taking antidepressants. So we end up having no solution. We carrying trauma in our bodies. We don't know how to release it. He has a chapter about what we have right now in terms of if you don't want to do drugs, or you, for example, tried and you failed. He talks about meditation. I don't recall about this meditation. I think there was a study about yoga. Then attending theater. Yes, you can kind of play in theater all your trauma, depends on what exactly. So it's definitely a great way. Actually, I need to research because I was attending something about similar to theater and drama. What else? EMDR, which obviously doesn't work to anyone. And another one is, let me go. Okay, finally found neurofeedback actually. That's interesting. But if you will go and find people who tried EMDR, for example, it's rapid eye movements, you will find out it doesn't work for every single person, and especially it works for trauma, one single event trauma actually. It doesn't work for complex PTSD when you have like let's say you have like living in abused household, because it's not one single event. It's for such situation it's not gonna work. That EMDR works for one single. Let's say you had a robbery or an assault, one single event. It can work, but some people say, and it really depends on who will do that one. You again rely on therapist. That neurofeedback, I don't recall I was doing any research on neurofeedback actually. It's again, you probably can find some negative reviews on that one too. And for example, yoga. Let's say we have now yoga as a study. I have opinion on that one actually. Yoga, how it can actually release trauma. For example, because yoga is about stretching. Let's say you have muscle tension here, and to release that muscle, basically it stay in contraction like this. It's contracted, and you need to relax it. There are several ways how to relax your muscle. Like if you will push your finger till pain, really, it's really hard pushing, and at some point your muscle will relax. Another thing, and when you actually stretch that muscle. Again, at some point, it will relax. So it's like a state between contraction and relaxing. I think that's the reason why yoga for some people works. It really depends on your instructor. I went to yoga and I didn't like that meditation, whatever. I didn't like that regular yoga. And when I was young, I was doing with my sister and my cousin, three of us, we just doing that just for fun, just to flex our body actually, because it's good just to move your body, your muscles, if you're not aware like how to move your even body. And another case, it's a group. It's happening within a group, and anything with happening in social interaction, it's good for humans because we are not designed to be alone. We should believe in tribes. This is exactly what is happening when you go to yoga. And another point why yoga actually works, you know what, I probably need to do separate video about yoga. When you do yoga, you concentrate your mind on your body. So you're basically distracting your mind from whatever trauma you have or whatever stress you have right now in your life by distracting. But that doesn't mean your trauma goes away. It doesn't mean your stress go away. You're just distracting your mind and say like, hey, this is not a big deal. Let's focus. We need to like, you know, relax and do like stretching our bodies. This is more important than your trauma. And so it's like redirecting your mind to do something else. If you have a child, you know what is that when you like having tantrums and you redirect their mind to something else. That's the same thing as probably happened to yoga. He didn't talk about how exactly and why that works. You need to understand that. If you tried meditation, yoga, it didn't work for you, you didn't have any benefits, do not shame yourself. I totally on your side because it didn't make any difference for me. So for regarding that book actually, so think about it. Maybe if you're too sensitive person, skip that Vietnam, that abuse, and maybe just read that chapter about methods, how you can treat yourself, Google, see what people say, like positive, negative. So far what I understood, if you have PTSD or complex PTSD, you have very little things what you can try, and you probably already tried some of them and you have more knowledge than me, but so far I didn't find any solution. But you still make sure you subscribe to my channel, because my channel about how we can back our emotional health, how to do stress reduction or whatever, because that foundation on our well-being. And even if you relax any muscle on your body, it doesn't mean you're completely now free of any emotional issues and trouble. It's not so simple, of course. And let me know if you have any other book which more practical actually than this one. And this is old book, by the way. It's like maybe written 15 years ago, and maybe right now a lot of books with more research, more data on it, and maybe not so brutal in terms of all these people. And you sort think like, hey, this does not apply to me. I was not in Vietnam. I didn't have this abusive childhood. So what? Does it mean that I don't have trauma? No, of course not, but it's probably not good when you have such brutal examples on this book, and we don't want to, of course, we don't want to re-traumatize ourselves, because every time when you remember your trauma, you actually reliving it. And I don't see any reason why we have to relive our traumas. I think we want to move on, not to relive our traumas. Okay, thanks for watching. and I hope you will feel better by watching my videos and apply what I have so far. Thanks, bye.